ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ। ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸੱਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸੱਚ। ਸਤਿਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ। ਤਿਲੰਗ ਮਹੱਲਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ। ਜੈਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਆਵੈ ਖਸਮ ਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਤੈਸੜਾ ਕਰੀ ਗਿਆਨ ਵੇ ਲਾਲੋ। ਪਾਪ ਕੀ ਜੰਝ ਲੈ ਕਾਬਲੋ ਧਾਇਆ ਜੋਰੀ ਮੰਗੈ ਦਾਨ ਵੇ ਲਾਲੋ। ਸਰਮ ਧਰਮ ਦੋਏ ਛਪ ਖਲੋਏ ਕੂੜ ਫਿਰੈ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਵੇ ਲਾਲੋ। ਕਾਜੀਆ ਬਾਮਣਾ ਕੀ ਗਲ ਥੱਕੀ ਅਗਦ ਪੜੈ ਸੈਤਾਨ ਵੇ ਲਾਲੋ। ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨੀਆਂ ਪੜ੍ਹੈ ਕਤੇਬਾ ਕਸ਼ਟ ਮੈਂ ਕਰੈ ਖੁਦਾਏ ਵੇ ਲਾਲੋ। ਜਾਤ ਸਨਾਤੀ ਹੋਰ ਹਿਦਵਾਣੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਪੀ ਲੇਖੈ ਲਾਏ ਵੇ ਲਾਲੋ। ਖੂਨ ਕੇ ਸੋਹੇ ਲੈ ਗਾਵਿਆ ਹੈ ਨਾਨਕ ਰਤ ਕਾ ਕੁੰਗੂ ਪਾਏ ਵੇ ਲਾਲੋ। ਸਾਹਿਬ ਕੇ ਗੁਣ ਨਾਨਕ ਗਾਵੈ ਮਾਸਪੁਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਕ ਮਸੋਲਾ। ਜਿਨੀ ਉਪਾਈ ਰੰਗ ਰਵਾਈ ਬੈਠਾ ਵੇਖੈ ਵਖ ਅਕੇਲਾ। ਸੱਚਾ ਸੋ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸਚ ਤਪਾਵਸ ਸਚੜਾ ਨਿਆਉ ਕਰੇਗ ਮਸੋਲਾ। ਕਾਇਆ ਕੱਪੜ ਟੁਕ ਟੁਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਸਮਾਲ ਸੀ ਬੋਲਾ। ਆਵਨ 78 ਜਾਨ 57 ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਉੱਠ ਸੀ ਮਰਦ ਕਾ ਚੇਲਾ। ਸੱਚ ਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਆਖੈ ਸੱਚ ਸੁਣਾਏ ਸੀ ਸੱਚ ਕੀ ਬੇਲਾ। ਸੱਚ ਕੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਨਾਨਕ ਆਖੈ ਸੱਚ ਸੁਣਾਏ ਸੀ ਸੱਚ ਕੀ ਬੇਲਾ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਪਰਮ ਸਨਮਾਨਯੋਗ। So yesterday we tried to get a brief detail of the importance of the Gurgaddi, of who our Guru Sahib is, and the Raj of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. There's no difference between Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Khalsa Raj and Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Halemi Raj. What Guru Nanak Dev Ji set up in Kartarpur Sahib, Anandpur Sahib is the more physical swaroop of it. When we read Gurbani, when people say these days that we don't need violence, this is the same thing that Maharaj says, that we don't need violence either. But it's the violent people out there already in the world who are being violent on us who are trying to be peaceful. Maharaj says in Gurbani, ke anek chor haram khor, asankh chor haram khor, asankh galvat hatya kamaye, asankh papi paap kar jaye, asankh kudiyar kude firaye. Maharaj says in this whole podi that there's so much countless sinners, so much countless people, cut necks and cut throats. This Bani that we just read, Jaisi mein aave khasam ki Bani, Satguru Nanak Dev Ji and Bhai Mardana Ji reached Ahmedabad, which is now in Pakistan, also known as Sayyidpur. The city that Maharaj reached, Maharaj went to a house of somebody named Bhai Lalo Ji. Maharaj says to them that I am not speaking anything from my own account. I am speaking the words of Akal Purkh Vaheguru. I am speaking Sach ki Bani. Nanak Aakhay, Sach Sunai Si, Sach ki Bela. And what I'm seeing right now is that countless of princesses and a princess being cut limb by limb. This is what was happening when Guru Nanak Dev Ji was around. 200 years later, Guru Gobind Singh Ji's time, in Anandpur Sahib, there's Hill Rajas, the surrounding areas that were ruled, and then the Mughal forces. Before it was a time where the Mughals, Babur, came into India, and Maharaj says Kaya kapra tuk tuk hosi, Hindustan samajsi bola ho Hindustan de loko. Hey people of India, remember these words, that when Babur came, that you guys were trying to read jantar mantras and make the Mughal Fauj, make the oncoming army go blind, but none of your jantar mantras, none of your prayers to make the army have worked to make them go blind. Maharaj says, Ko Mughal hua na anda, kine na parcha paya. No one is a witness to watching even one Mughal go blind. In Anandpur Sahib, it was such a beautiful place. It used to be called Hathod, a nickname to where so many elephants stayed. The thick forests. There was Satluj River, a beautiful big river coming down from the Himalayan mountains. Mountains on one side, a beautiful river on one, surrounded by thick forest. Beautiful animals, elephants, peacocks, deer, all sorts of beautiful animals. It was such a peaceful place. The regions around Anandpur Sahib, we can call the hill regions. There was different regions, and one of the kings there was named Bhim Chand. Bhim Chand had confrontation with Guru Gobind Singh Ji one time. After the birth of Sahibzade Ajit Singh Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji won their first battle. We spoke a little bit about this yesterday. Anandpur Sahib was such a beautiful place, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji has established 5 castles, Ranjit Nagara, Kavi Darbar. They've taken care of all the corrupt people, those corrupt such as Prithi Chand during the time of Guru Ramdas Ji, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, when they were to become Guru, Prithi Chand, the elder brother, wanted to claim himself as Guru. During the Guru time of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the son and the brother of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the son of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, Tirmal, he tried to claim himself as the Guru, as the 9th Guru. There was quite a few followers, thousands of followers, and Guru Maharaj had burnt 2,200 of those followers, of those people trying to claim that they had the right rule, when they were preaching nothing but not the truth. There was not the complete truth. Maharaj raised their 4 sahibzade there. They had the Amrit Sanchar ceremony there. They taught the Khalsa, and there was teachers teaching Farsi. The sahibzade were there. They were learning Farsi, Arabic. They were learning Punjabi. The sahibzade were reading Banis, learning their Ityas. During this time, 8 months, around 1700s to 1701, from about February, March time to December time, about 8 months, Anandpur Sahib was surrounded. During these 8 months, Anandpur Sahib had been attacked a few times. Surprise attacks. One of the attacks was with a mast hathi. An elephant that was given alcohol was sent to destroy one of the doors to the castle in which the Khalsa was staying in. Bhai Atar Singh was sent out, and they destroyed the hathi with the Nagani Barsha. During this time, Gatka was so important. Satguru Gobind Singh Ji says that if you cannot learn Gatka, if you cannot learn battle skills, then you are of no use to me to live in Anandpur Sahib. There are such quotes written by Kavi, the first Kavi of the Darbar of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. Kavi Senapati is their name. And they write these accounts down in their Granth, Gur Sobha Granth. Maharaj, Kavi Senapati says, Je je nar te na pere, dine nagar nekar, je te thor palle pere, tene kari pratapar. Those who have fought to protect the sanctity of Anandpur Sahib, those who have stood ground against those Hill Rajas, against those Mughal forces. There's different forces coming from Delhi, from Lahore, and the surrounding areas of Anandpur Sahib. There was a time, Sad Sangat Ji, where the farms were being burnt. The castles were being destroyed. All of Guru Sahib's hard work was being attacked. When it came the time to leave Anandpur Sahib, it wasn't a time of choice, but it was a time of desperation. Two Mughals were sent from Aurangzeb's army from Delhi, and one of those Mughals came with the Quran, and at the last page of the Quran was a promise written that if you leave Anandpur Sahib, that we will not attack you. Meet us in Dina Kangad and we'll have a conversation there. Guru Gobind Singh Ji writes an account of this in Zafarnama. Another was a Brahmin Hindu called Parmanand, and he brought a cow in the shape of, it was atta in the shape of a cow, and that was their promise to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, that you guys can leave Anandpur Sahib. It was said, Ab shado Anand Gad, Pali Paat, Baat hai aaj, Paru Vak aise peo, Bahu Bid Pahi Tiyar. That they were suggesting that it's a great time for you to leave Anandpur Sahib now. Think about it. They were being attacked. It was a genocide happening. And they say that you can leave Anandpur Sahib, leave your shastras behind. But it wasn't the Khalsa to leave their shastra behind. If there's any wrong to any other people, any Hindus, any Muslims, the Khalsa stands guard for them. So when it comes to the Khalsa being attacked, why shouldn't the Khalsa stand tiyar bar tiyar for themselves, for what we believe in? Maharaj did vichaar with the Sangat, with Mata Gujri Ji, with their Mela, and came to a decision. Some of the Sangat was saying it was the rainy season, and it was such a time that everybody was getting wet. It was so hard to get food and water, that to get food, some of the Sangat would go out to get food. Remember that tiyar bar tiyar, they have tal on their back, they have shastar in their hand. They would put a body of food on their head, and as they're walking towards the Qila or running on their horses, they're fighting off enemies. There's so many times. There was one time that the Khalsa went out to get food without Guru Maharaj's hukam, and few of them got shaheed, and they didn't return. And when the khabar came to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji said that who gave them the hukam? Did I give them the hukam to go out? Now was not the time to go out. Before the enemy forces were coming just in the daytime, but now when they realized that the Khalsa was coming out of the forts, coming out of Nandgarh, Lohgarh, coming out of the castles to get food at night, the enemy forces were standing guard at night time too. It was so hard to get water that groups of 4 would go out to get water. 2 of them with buckets in their hand, and 2 of them pure tiyar bar tiyar to fight off any enemies that were coming to attack. It was such a desperate time. It was scarce food, scarce of water. The Singhs were wet because it was barsatan then, it was rainy season, dark, foggy. The Singhs were doing benti to Satguru Ji before leaving. They said, Aso hal hamara peo, hard cham, hamro gal gayo. That our skin and our bones are starting to rot because of the rain. They're soaked, but they came to a decision to leave Anandpur Sahib. Guru Gobind Singh Ji wanted to show the Khalsa that behind their promises, we're not getting out easy. They sent out a wagon tied to some bulls, and in that wagon was useless items, rocks, sticks, useless items, and they sent it out. And when the wagon reached a little bit down the hills of Anandpur Sahib, it was attacked. It was attacked by arrows from all directions. Sipahis came out from all directions, and they were disappointed to see that there was nothing in the wagons. Now it was time for attack. It was a very dangerous time. Night time came, and Guru Gobind Singh Ji made sure that everybody was tiyar bar tiyar. Out of the treasury of Guru Sahib, remember the treasury of Guru Sahib was so big. So much Keemte Granth, so much Ithihas, so much Baniya, Dasam Granth, and it was written in different, like little, you could say, kitabs. Just like how Guru Nanak Dev Ji went on their Dasiyan, they wrote their Banis in kitabs. This is how Dasam Granth was written in different poetries. All of this was distributed among the Sangat. Sangat used to bring gold, and Guru Sahib would ask the Sangat to bring gold. Gold would be put on their arrows. So whenever they attacked, whenever Guru Gobind Singh Ji attacked any enemy, that if the enemy was wounded, that they can get healing, and if they died in battle, that their funerals can be paid for. This is how benevolent our Guru Sahib is. Such Mehravan, such Kripalu Data Ji sada hai Guru Gobind Singh Ji. They think of everybody as equal. Sab ho meet hamar, sam ko meet hum apan kina, hum sabna ke sajan. That everybody is my friend, and I am everybody's friend. It was a time of the Panch Chors in their Pargat Roop, in the form of Jamdut, in the form of death itself. It was the Mughal Raj, and this time was such a terrible time. Everybody was wet. Maharaj said, take what you can. Take anything that you can. Remember, you're coming on horses. Everything is wet. Anything else, leave it behind. Kavi Senapati Ji writes about this account. During the time of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, in the shabd that we just read, Jaisi mein aave khasam ki bani, taisa kari gyan ve lalo. There was another shabd, Babar Vani phir gayi. And that shabd, it talks about how the princes weren't able to eat. And this time, think about it. Princes, Sahibzaade, Ajit Singh Ji, Sahibzaade Jujar Singh Ji, Zorawar Singh, Sahibzaade Fateh Singh Ji. Think about how hungry they must have been, how scarce the food must have been for all of these things. It was such a time that a group of 100 did benti to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and they said, according to your hukam, that if we cannot fight, that we're useless to you, and we cannot fight anymore in these conditions. We're hungry, our skin and our bones are rotting, our shastras are becoming khundiyan, they're becoming not sharp. 40 of them wrote a bidava, and they decided to leave. They were not going to go with Guru Gobind Singh Ji in the Fauj. Up ahead was Mata Gujri Ji, the Chote Sahibzade. In the middle was Guru Ke Mehla, Mata Sundari Ji and Mata Sahibdeva Ji, and Bhai Mani Singh Ji. In the back was Sahibzada Ajit Singh Ji, Bhai Uday Singh, countless other Shastratari Surme. And it was in the back to keep them safe. It was the back because coming from the back is going to be those Hill Rajas and the Mughals that were attacking Anandpur Sahib. When they leave, coming behind them is going to be Fauja ready to attack them. So Maharaj needed the Shastratari Surme to protect the Khalsa and what they have. They tried their best to protect everybody. The condition of living in Anandpur Sahib was that you needed weapons, that you needed to be Amritari. Amritari is the first rat of the Khalsa. Guru Nanak Dev Ji writes in Asa Dibar that if you are an Aparadi duna neve, jo hanta mirgahe, sis navaye kya thiye jaride kusude jaye. That if you're just here for the show, if you're here to show off that you're matha taking, but in your heart, you know that you're going to be doing other things, that you're not going to be tiyar bar tiyar, that you're not going to stand for the panth, and then coming to matha take is useless as well. Guru Gobind Singh Ji says, don't even do my didar if you're not wearing shastar and if you don't have your case. So 40 saints wrote a bidava and they said that we're not going to be in your qawm anymore. Later, these 40 saints come back to Guru Sahib a couple of years later, and they battle in a jang called Muksar, and they become known as the Chali Mukti. They end up getting Mukti because they see that there's no other way better than the Khalsa way, better than Guru Gobind Singh's way. So today we tried to cover a little bit about what a terrible summer it was in Anandpur Sahib to leave, what a city of bliss turned to a city of blood, dead bodies, blood, fire, rain, scarce of food, the forests were being burnt. It was a time of need, of desperation, but the Khalsa didn't leave their way, the Khalsa didn't leave their head, their nitnem, they didn't leave their panch kakars, and they didn't leave the side of the Guru. Hundreds of people left with Guru Sahib that day. It was night time when they left. And tomorrow we're going to try to cover the journey from leaving Anandpur Sahib to Sarsa Nadi and to what is called परिवार विछोड़ा। और माता गुजरी जी is left with the two छोटे साहिबजादे, Guru Gobind Singh Ji is left with the बड़े साहिबजादे, and 40 or so, 50 or so Singhs, and on one side is Guru Sahib's Supataniya, Guru Demal, Mata Sundari Ji, Mata Sahib Deva Ji, and Bhai Mani Singh Ji. So we're going to try to cover the journey from leaving Anandpur Sahib to Sarsa Nadi tomorrow. I hope any of this made sense. पिछले उगन बख्श लै प्रभ आगे मार्ग पावे, करो किरपा दाता जी, होर समतिया बख्शो, सानू बाणी दा पढ़न दा चाह, सुनन दा चाह बख्शो, ते हिरदे दे विच विछोण दा चाह बख्शो। गुरसाखी जोत प्रगट होए, आप जी दे साखी सुनदे आप जी दी जोत करो किरपा साडे सारियां दे सामने प्रगट हो जो। महाराज सानू असीसां दिओ सजन असीसड़ियां जो होवे साहिब सिउ मेल करो किरपा। महाराज भुल चुक माफ़ कर लो। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।
बोले सो निहाल।
सत श्री